In this webinar, you'll have an opportunity to see the entire system and have a tour of how it works and how it can work for you. We are here to help you every step of the way with user guides. We have an extensive user guide. We have instructional sheets for each type of application and permit. There is an individual instruction sheet giving you information on how to start, how to go through the process, and the actual details of the application itself so that you can prepare before you log on. There are also quick reference guides to help you with things like paying fees or uploading documents. And additionally, we have videos, how-to videos. The first one you'll probably want to watch is registering a new account. Those videos can be found at our website. The objectives of this webinar today are to help you understand Manatee County Government's new online services system, to have you become familiar with some of the terms that we use now in the new system, have you learn how to log in and navigate around the system, as well as start using our services. Beginning February 27th, 2018, we will go live with the new online services for Manatee County. Once that happens, you won't always have to come into the county anymore. If you have been doing business with our building department, planning and zoning, public works, or licensing, you could very well do all your business in the future from the comfort of your home, your office, even the beach. So just to let you know, the software behind our system is Acela. Many of you may be familiar with that. The city of Tampa and many counties around the state are using the system now, and of course we have our own way of using it. So how do you get started? Well, you must create an account in order to get started. Instructions how to do that are available at our website, and of course we are going to go over, once you have your account, how you can work with it to conduct business with us. So what can you do with an account in our online services? You can submit applications, pay fees, schedule inspections, upload and download documents, review the processing status of your applications, as well as renew license. Now, some of the terminology that we're going to discuss in just a few minutes has to do with how we use it in online services. In online services, a record represents each and every application, license, case, permit that is created in the system. So there's still applications, there's still permits, but in online services we refer to them as a record. Records in online services will have their own unique number. Starting February 27th, any permit that you submit will be given a record number, BLD, then the year and the month, with the dash, and then a counter, which starts over each month. The dash is very important when you're trying to search for a number, so do not leave it out, and there are no spaces. Everything is all together. If you are submitting a planning application or a zoning application, then it will start with the PLN. Now, what about records or applications and permits from prior to February 27th? Well, anything that's active in our system right now is being converted, and it's being converted using the same application number or permit number that you had originally. But in the new online services system, if it is a permit, it will start with CMP and a dash. If it is a planning and zoning application, it'll start with a DTS and a dash, but the number you've used before will still be the same. You may also notice as you're working that there are temporary records, and a record is not actually given a number until it is fully submitted with the fees paid. So in a temporary state, whether you're still adding information or the fees have not been paid yet, the record number will be the current year, TMP, a dash, and then a counter. So these are the numbers that you need to start looking for as you get involved in our new online services system. We want to make you aware of a wild card. Sometimes when you want to do a search, you don't have all the information, and a wild card helps you fill in the blanks. That's a % sign. Note, and later it will be shown here in the webinar, that you may also need to use that wildcard if you're doing some kind of a search on a parcel number. Status is something that is prominent in our new system. We look at processing applications and permits through what we call the workflow. And at each step of that workflow process, there is a status. That status may be in process, it may be revisions required, it may be complete. There are a number of different statuses. If you come online and look at your application or permit that's in process, you will see the status. And so we want you to understand what that is. When submitting an application, many times you have other individuals on there that are considered contacts. That may be an agent, it may be an architect, engineer, it may be a licensed professional. So we call those contacts, and contacts do have access to see the information on the record that they have been assigned, if they in fact have accounts themselves. Another new designation that you may not be familiar with is a delegate. Now, if you have an account and you have employees or maybe other individuals that you want to have access to your account but really don't want to share your login information, you can assign them as delegates to your account. They must have their own account where they log in themselves, and then when they log in, they can, by acknowledging that they are a delegate, access and review and assist in information that's in your account. Now, they only can become a delegate if you assign them, and you do have rights to limit the amount of access they have. We will also have more information about this in quick reference cards and in videos. So now let's take a tour of the online services. Here we are. This is what the login page will look like. When we go live, you will be able to access it through our regular website. Before we go ahead and log in, let's just take a little look around and see what can be done without a login or before we log in. One of the few things that you can do without having a login is actually access a report. If you take a look below the banner, you'll see in blue it says reports, and there's one. That report is actually a contractor list by type and zone. When you click on that, a pop-up opens to allow you to select the license type. In this case, we'll just put plumbing in there and submit. And what the system will do is go out and look for any plumbing licensed professionals that have registered with Manatee County, and it will bring up a list. I need to remind you that we are working in a test system here. It is not our complete system that we will have when we go live on the 27th. So the report that comes up here will not be a complete report, but rather an example of a report that can be generated by clicking on the reports. So you can print this report, or you can just take a look at it, and then right now we're going to go ahead and X out of it. So just let's take a little tour around this login page. If you click on the box for accessibility support, it will convert our site to be in compliance with the 508 accessibility. Of course, register an account is where you would go when you want to register a new account. On the 27th of February, when we go live, this will be the first thing you will want to do. And of course, the login is right here, and once you do have an account, you can click on that for login. Down below the login spot, I want to point out that if you forget your password, you can take care of getting it reset all on your own just by following the instructions and clicking on this. And then there is another spot that if you need to register as a new user, you can start your account. So let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and log in. When you log in, the first thing you will see is your dashboard. And in your dashboard, you will have three blocks or three windows. The first one is your cart. And in your cart are the items you have identified that you're ready to pay, but obviously haven't paid yet because they're in your cart. The cart works a lot like any cart out there on the internet where you're purchasing things. The process is just the same. The next box to the right is called My Collections. This is the ability to organize within Acela. And although we're not going to go into that here in this webinar, in the user guide, there are more detailed instructions, and there is also a quick reference card that'll explain collections to you. Down below is work in process, and these are all the applications that you have started but have not been completed. As you can see, the temporary number is here. You may not have completed all the information necessary, or maybe just not have submitted the payment, but that's why these are in a temporary state. And to start anyone up, all you have to do is click on Resume Application, and it will take you back to where you left off in the application so you can continue and finish. So let's go back to Home, where we have our dashboard, and after the dashboard, I want to show you My Records. In My Records, you have the ability to go look at all the records that you have submitted as well as those that are still in process. And it's broken down into the different areas that are accessible. We have building, planning, and license. So all of those are out there available to you. Notice here, I'll show you in the building section, if any of them have fees due, it'll say pay fees due. Any that are in process, it will say resume application. If you go ahead and click on pay fees due, it will take you to your checkout, show you the fees that need to be paid on that application. Once you click checkout, it will take you actually to your cart where you can finish checking out by clicking the checkout button, and it would take you to the payment screen where you fill out just like any other payment you would do online. So back in My Records, we'll just go below and look at planning, and the only thing I want to point out that's just a little bit different than any building are that the window is a little bit wider, so you have to slide the bar down in the bottom to see the actions of pay fees due or resume application. After we've finished in My Records, let's take a look at My Account. My Account is where you can update a lot of information. The alternative way to get to My Account is also by going here and clicking Account Management. It takes you to the same place and you do the same things. In My Account, you can take a look and you can update any of your login information. That would be your email, your password, your security question. The second thing you can do here is add any licensed professionals. Now, if you have any licensed professionals that you wish to associate with your account, which means you would be using them on a regular basis, you can add their license here. That could be your own or other related licensed professionals. If you do add a licensed professional in this area, they must be linked to your account. So in order to do that, you must notify our building permit department so that they can go ahead and process and acknowledge that link exists. Once they acknowledge the link exists, then it will send an email out to that licensed professional to let them know that they have been linked to your account. The next section is contacts. Contact information is where you can store contacts that you use regularly. You can have applicant information, which would be yourself. You could have engineer information. You could have business owner information. You could have several different contacts. The reason that you like to keep information here is when you actually complete an application and submit it, instead of having to input that information each time, you can actually access it here from this area and update. If you don't and put it in new, it does not save back to your account information. Next section down here below is for attachments. And these are for attachments that you plan to regularly use. Again, as you go through an application process, if you need to attach documents, you can either upload them or you can access them because they've already been saved in your account. And finally, this section down here on the bottom is for delegates. And as you can see, you can be in a delegate on another's account, or you can have delegates on your account. Here's where you actually keep a list of them. Whether you want to add a delegate, you can do that here. There will be a separate video and quick reference card explaining delegates in more detail and how you can use them in your account. So let's go on to advanced searches. So there's two options here for advanced searches. There's look up property information. So let's take a look there. And in the look up property information, you actually have several options. You can look up by address, by parcel information, by owner, by record information, and you can also look up licensed professional in this area. When looking up an address, you could fill out every box in this lookup area, but we suggest you minimize the information for two reasons. First, you need to be very precise because where it's going to look up is in our GIS, our Geographic Information System, and so it must be precise and exact and match. Secondly, each field that you put information in, online services takes time to go out and look, so the more information it has to look for, the longer it will take. If you keep the information to a minimum, you have a better chance of getting an accurate address quickly. So in the case of this, we can put in a street number and go over and put in a street name. And what I'm going to do is take advantage of the wildcard and go ahead and just put a partial street name in and the wildcard % and click on lookup. And what you'll see, it found a specific address for me. If the information that I gave it, there were several addresses, it would actually open a window and allow you to go ahead and select which address you were actually looking for. Let's go back here and take a look at parcel information. When you want to look up parcel information, you need to have an actual parcel number. So I'm going to go ahead and type in a parcel number. But what I'm also going to do is put the wildcard at the end. And the reason that I'm going to do this is because we actually, for each and every address, have behind our parcel numbers what's called a hash ID. And that hash ID allows parcels, such as those with a condominium on them, each individual address to have its own unique parcel number. So when I do this, for most cases, all it's going to do is keep me from needing to know about the hash ID. If I should put this in and it was a condominium project, it would go ahead and list each and every address and I would have to pick the one that I needed. So let's go ahead and look up this parcel number. And there you go. It's found it for us. Alrighty, so now next, let's take a look at if we want to look up owner information. And here you would put an owner's name or the address you're looking for, and you could look up owner information. Record information is a regular record ID. You would have to have the regular record ID, although you may have some of the other type of information in order to search for that. So this would help you find something that you had out there. And finally, licensed professional. If you put the licensed professional number in, you will be able to find a licensed professional there. And so I'm going to go ahead and put a professional's number in. You can see lookup, and it will find that licensed professional for me. So depending on what you're looking for, this search will help you do that. We also have search by record and application. That can be within the building permit area, the planning and zoning area, or within license. This would be how you would do searches. Now let's take a look at actually submitting a record and what it takes to do that. Let's start out with a building permit application. So in order to do that, we would go to the Building tab. The first thing that we see is some general information and a disclaimer. Please note that you need to allow pop-ups for this site in order to be able to follow through with many of the things that you need to do. So we're going to check that we have read and accepted the general disclaimer and then click Continue Application. Here we have the option of picking records, and there's standard permit types, there's express permit types, if you want a floodplain determination letter, or if you're looking for a right-of-way permit, they are all under this area. So let's just go ahead and pick something simple. Why don't we pick a deck permit and continue with our application. The first piece that we come to is we're looking for location and people, and we need the location information. So this again is the address in most cases. If you need to use the parcel, you would go down here below and put the parcel number in. I'm going to use the same method I did in the search, and I'm going to use an abbreviated address with my wildcard. And our online services is going to go to our GIS, and they're going to pull all the information, the remainder of the address information, all of the parcel information, and all of the owner information. So let's say we'd like to do a search on our parcel number. We need to go to the parcel number, and enter the parcel number with the wildcard. Click search. Online services will go get all the information related to that parcel. Okay. Next, we're going to enter the applicant. So if you recall, if you updated all your information in your account, you can actually go and select account and add that contact information. It automatically clicks a mailing address. Mailing address is required. You may add a home and business address if you choose to do so. Then you click continue. It shows the details in case you need to adjust anything, and then you can click continue, and it will let you know that the contact has been added successfully. If you choose, you can enter an architect or an engineer, also a business owner. Each record has its own set of contacts that are required or optional to add. Once you've added contacts, you continue. And now we come to adding information about the project itself, the permit. So the first thing that we're going to do is add the details. Anything that has this little red asterisk is required. Definitely that must be put in or you cannot move on. Other areas are optional, but it's important that you provide as much information as possible for our reviewers so that they are able to totally understand what it is that you're trying to do. Once you've added the appropriate details, then you can click the Continue Application button. Next, the application asks for all the project information. And again, each application is different. If you download the instructions, it will tell you what information you need for that application. So in this section, proceed through and add the information that's required. The other information is going to be helpful, and at some point our permitting text will probably be asking for it. There are a few spots here in the application information which are very similar, if not the same, in every application. If you are using a private provider for your inspections, you'll check the box here. We do have specific instructions related to use of private providers, so if that is something that you will be doing, you need to follow through on the directions related to that. Every permit also has an area called Trades Affected, and you will have to identify yes or no whether you're going to have certain trades. In the past, you would have known this as the subcontractors. Any of the trades affected marked yes will require a subcontractor to be input along with the submission of the application. A general contractor is always required. Next, you will get to the area where you can add your contractors, either your general contractor or your subcontractors. So the easiest way to do this is go ahead and look up. You are able to, by license type, go ahead and search for them. When all the licensed professionals have been added, you can click Continue Application, and it takes you to the trade assignments. Any licensed professional that was added previously will be listed in this trades assignment area. Unless you have a licensed professional that is doing two trades for you, you should have nothing else to do here. But if you have a licensed professional, for example, a plumber, who would be doing your plumbing and your gas work, you would need to go ahead and add that professional a second time for that second trade that they're doing for you, because our online services checks this trades table against everything that you've said yes, and they must match in order for you to move on and complete the application. Finally, we come to the documents that must be added in order to submit the application. And this is a very simple process. If you hit the Add button, it'll bring you to an upload area. You can go ahead and select the files that you need and add them. Once they're added, the Continue button turns blue and they're uploaded to the online services site. Once they're there, you're required to select the type and provide a description. And of course, that description can be as long or as short as necessary. Online Services does look for the type of document that's listed there in the type, and that's how they match that it has been uploaded properly and the application is complete. Once you've completed the upload, save, and continue the application. At this point, you have an opportunity to review all the details. You do another checkbox that you certify the information is correct and continue the application. Here's where you come to checkout. It will take you to your cart, and as you can see, there's more than one fee in there to be paid. If you're only interested in paying one of the fees, you can edit the cart and remove additional fees. Save the cart the fashion that you want and go to checkout. We accept payment online using either credit card or e-check. If you do not pay the fees at that point in time, you will get a temporary number. Once the fees are paid, you will get a regular record number. This will indicate that the application has been submitted. Then our permitting department will review it for completeness, and once it has been accepted, you will receive notification via email that the application has actually been accepted. So this is how the building record works. Let's take a look at planning. To submit a planning record, you click on the planning button, and it's the same. You go ahead and acknowledge reading and accepting the terms and click the Continue Application. There's a list of all of the types of planning applications that you can choose from, including construction plans review from Public Works in this list. So let's go ahead and select, I'm going to check on the lot line adjustment and Continue Application. So this time we're going to look up via the parcel number. And remember, in order for it to do a proper search, you need to use the wildcard. Online Services has gone out and gotten all the information, including the address, all the parcel information, and the owner information. So next we can click Continue Application. So once again, we go ahead and get our applicant information. We're going to get that from our account. Use the mailing address and click Continue. And it updates our contact. Now, if we do not have our agent's information saved in our account, then we'll have to add new. And we'll have to add an address. And of course, the type of address needs to always be mailing. And then once that's complete, we can continue, and it adds the contact. The thing that you must remember is if you've added Any contact via Add New, it is only in the record. It does not save back to your account. You must go to a My Account or Account Management in order to have that saved there. In some cases, some of the applications will require an engineer or a landscape architect, and if that's the case, you'll need to add that information. If not, you can continue. And here we are at the application detail. Of course, we need to have a project name so that we know what you are calling it, and then the detailed description of the project, followed by the detailed information of the project. And again, there is a detailed instruction sheet on each and every application type here in the system. So all you need to do is go to our website and go to the training area and you can download that information. Of course, remember that anything with a red asterisk is a required field and you must fill it out. Also, in several of the planning applications, there's existing land use areas, and each and every one of these must be completed. So you must select a checkbox in each and every one. If you don't, the online services will request that you do that before you can move on. Once all the land use selections have been made, you can continue the application. If you forget something and haven't completed it, you will receive the appropriate error message and must go back and complete it before you can move on with the application. Finally, the documents required are listed. Again, all of the documents related to every application are included in the instruction sheet, so it's very helpful to have that and review it before you start. Again, uploading documents is very simple and straightforward, but we do have instructions for you on that. Once you've uploaded the document, you must select the type of document that it is so that our online services knows what you have uploaded. Once the application has been submitted, our techs will review that all the documents that are listed are in fact those documents. When you've completed, you can save. You will receive a message that it has been successfully attached, and you can continue. Next, you'll have an opportunity to review everything again. And when that is complete, check the box that says you agree and certify the information. And if you've forgotten one of the land use, it will notify you which one. You can go back and edit and complete the one that was missed. And go ahead and check the box and move on and complete the application. Your fees will be automatically calculated, and in order to submit the application, they must also be paid. Once it has been paid, you will receive the record number. Let's go back to My Records, and we can see both of the applications that we put into process, and we can also see that they only have a temporary number because we have not submitted the payment. Once the payment is submitted, you will receive the regular record number, and from that point it has been submitted. Once the application has been submitted, the only things that you will be able to do: pay fees, upload and download documents, and view the process of your application. So we're next going to take a few minutes to go ahead and look at some of those things. Once you have a submitted record, there's a few ways you can go look for it. One is by going to My Records, where we are right now. Another way you can look for your record is by going to the General Search and putting in the record number. When you arrive at the record, it will look like this. It does have our GIS map to show you the location. It shows you the record details. And if you click more, it shows everything from the entire application. So you can review the information that you input here. If you need any changes, again, you must contact our building permit department. Once you're in the record itself, you have two options. You can look at record information or you can look at payments. If you take a look at payments, it'll show you fees. And under fees, you'll see we have some fees due. We also have some fees that have been paid. If you need the receipt for any of your fees paid, you can just click on View Details, and a pop-up window will give you that receipt, whether you can save it or print it. Under Record Information, you can look at several things. One of the things that will be of interest to you is the processing status. And this is what processing status looks like. So for our workflow, the different stops and things that we need to do with it, you can see where we stand. As you can see from this one, the application is complete. Some of the reviews have also been completed, and there are others that are in process. The way you can tell they're completed is the check mark. The green check mark means it's completed. The hourglass means it's not completed yet. One of the things that's helpful too is if you look at the details, you'll see that our floodplain review was not only completed, but they've left comments that all requirements have been met. The fire review is not completed, but it actually had been reviewed. There's comments to let you know the outcome of the review. Some of the comments that you may receive may require you to provide more information or another document. When you're ready to do that, you'll need to go back to the Record Information tab here and go to Attachments. This attachments will have all the documents that you have uploaded or that we have uploaded to your record. If you are the one uploading, you'll have to upload very much like you did when you submitted the application. You click the Add button, you go find the document, attach it and continue. And identify what it is. When you are providing information that has been requested, you will want to select the type Request Revisions. This will let online services know that they need to notify those requesting that information that it is available. Again, save, and the document is attached. Another thing that we can do while we're here in the record is schedule inspections. But let's take a look at a record that actually has had the permit issued. So let's go through the process of scheduling an inspection. I've selected a record where the permit has been issued. We're going to go down to Inspections. Okay, once we get into the Inspections tab, you can see there are some pending inspections, there's some completed inspections, but we're going to go ahead and schedule one from scratch. So we're going to click on the blue Schedule or Request Inspections. Inspections are listed in numerical order like they are in the inspection card. So you want to select the one that you plan to schedule, hit the Continue button. The calendar will come up and you can select the date you wish to have that inspection. You cannot request a specific time. Our inspectors schedule their day, so all you can select is all day. Continue. If the inspector needs to contact someone other than the main contact on the record, then you want to go ahead and add that information, the name and the phone number. and continue. If there's additional notes to the inspector, go ahead and add those. They'll give them some direction once they get there, and then you finish. And the new inspection will be added to the list. If you would like to schedule a pending inspection, you can go in and schedule it, just the same way you would schedule a new one that had not been listed yet. Completed inspections are here, and they show that they've been resulted and what the results have been. And if you view details, you will actually be able to read any comments that the inspector has left. And that's pretty much inspections. It's pretty straightforward. So let's take a look at a planning record. Planning records are handled very much the same as a building record, except there are no inspections. Let's point out a couple things. I'm going to go ahead and select a planning record. As you can see, it looks very much the same. It has a payments tab where you can look at fees. It has an informations tab where you can do all the other business that you need to do, of course, except inspections. But what I want to look at here is the processing status. And you can see in this case, the application has been accepted. A couple reviews have been completed. Occasionally, there will be additional routing, and these will be added at the bottom of the list of tasks to be completed. Everything else about the planning record works the same as a building record. Let's just take a look at the third option we have here, which is license. And when applying for a license, it works just the same as in building and planning. You start out and you're going to read and accept the terms. Please read the notes here at the beginning so that you can make sure you've complied with everything that applies to you. Then you'll have a selection of the type of license. Now, the important thing to understand when you get ready for licensing is that licensing actually has three records. There's an application record that you initially select, fill out the application, and get approved to create your actual license, which is a record in and of itself. When it comes time for renewal, online services will go ahead and notify you 30 days in advance, 7 days in advance, and then the day before. And you must go online and create a new renewal record so that you can renew your license, update the information, and pay any fees that might apply. Completing the license application works just the same as the building and planning application. What you need to know is that active licenses are being converted to the new online services. So if your license is active, it will be in the new system and you will receive your renewal at the appropriate time. If you've let your license expire, you will have to go into online services and fill out a new application. Once that new application is completed, then the license can be issued and you will be part of the regular system. Now, if you do not renew your license at the prescribed time, the system will automatically cause it to expire. And if you wish to renew it, you will have to contact our license department in order for them to reinstate it for you. Before we complete this tour of online services, I want to remind you that anything that's active in our current systems will be converted to the new online services. The planning applications will be using the same number that they were using in the old system, except for it will start with DTS and a dash, and building permits will be using the same building permit number, except for their prefix will be CMP with a dash. So we've come to the end of the tour of our new online services. I want to remind you that there's more to learn, and the answers to all your questions will be available to you on our training website or on our online services website, where you can also find the email address or phone number to ask specific questions. Thank you for taking this tour of the Building and Development Department's online services. We look forward to doing business with you online.